I think the fraud tree is one of the most important things anyone in forensic accounting and litigation support services should learn about. And for that matter, I'm surprised that more attorneys are not aware of it. Why? We deal in litigation, and in litigations, there's constant allegations. And over the course of my career, where I see waste or where I see missteps is when people do not truly understand the allegations, truly understand then what the scope of service is to provide, and can risk assess off of that. So, and I've talked about it in numerous videos. People, in various roles, whether it was internal investigations, whether it's a divorce, whether it's a homeowners association claiming some sort of malfeasance. I start with the fraud tree. I go back to my allegations. Now, why do I do this? Number one, it's expensive to hire a forensic accountant. And I don't think clients want to pay for things that they don't get value out of. More importantly, as someone who practices in this field, it's really difficult to collect on things when there are no results. So, in addition to many other things in our processes, in my practice, I do the triage. I do the allegation triage. I go through what are the specific items, concerns, the who, what, where, when, and why, right? But the fraud tree is the compass because, as you can see, there's really just three main areas you want to focus on if someone does have a fraud. And, I spend many years trying to think about, well, what doesn't fall into here? What am I missing, right? Because in my profession, it's all about what you didn't see sometimes. They'll try and pull you on that. I haven't found that. There's three basic areas: financial statement fraud, asset misappropriation, and corruption. My favorite to investigate: corruption, conflicts of interest, bribes, economic extortion. Those are very interesting, but those go outside the realm of financial issues from time to time. There's compliance and ethics issues as well too. So not every fraud examiner or forensic accountant has the background for that. Financial statement fraud, well, let me back up here. So corruption, median loss 200,000, about 35% of the cases. Financial statement fraud is what got me here, right? I mean, that was Enron. When I was out of school, that sounded like the coolest thing to do. I could be an accountant. First of all, accounting wasn't what I wanted to get into. I got an accounting degree because it's a tool for me to utilize in providing service to people. So financial statement fraud, while people think that's, the big thing that it's going offer, and don't get me wrong, the median loss is there. You got to think about who's doing that and how many of the cases. But it comes back to asset misappropriation. And when you get into this, you start looking at the cases here that I'm talking about: theft of cash on hand, inventory, skimming, larceny, billing schemes, payroll schemes, expense reimbursement schemes, check tampering, registered disbursements. The ACFE has done a great job, as you see down here where I'm of outlining potential risks. And so when you're sitting down with a client in any of these areas, corruption, financial statement fraud, asset misappropriation, the question should be, what is the risk? Remember those who, what, where, when, whys, and hows. And then start, is it a theft of cash? Well, what kind? Is it a vendor a vendor fraud? Financial statement fraud, right? Is it somebody thinks that they're doing something, or is there real pressures that get into it? So, little overview of the fraud tree. Another thing that I want to talk about, and we'll be talking about on another video, is utilizing the fraud tree, but then taking that in conjunction with the fraud triangle. Hope you guys like this video. For more, subscribe at the button below.